Hi, my name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I'm the author of Pancreatic Cancer, Families Move On. Today I have with me one of the contributors, Ernesto Malanga. Ernesto, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, how are you, Lisa?
Good, really good. Thanks for being here, Ernesto. So,
Welcome.
Ernesto, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, all right, well, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. When I fast forward, when I got married, I moved out to Long Island. No regrets. I love it here. And I've always stayed close to home. My whole life was always in New York. And I will say that the most important thing for me was always to stay close to family. So physically, I didn't want to go too far when I did get married, and sure enough, it worked out exactly as I had hoped.
I identify with that. I moved actually back to Long Island, so having been away from it for a couple years, so I
Mhm.
get it. Yeah, we're both on Long Island, having never met in person, Ernesto. So
Aside from the charities that we've done,
that's right. Aside from the charities. Yes.
which was, believe it or not, 12, 13 years ago almost. Uh,
Wow.
it's
Wow. That's a lot of years.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the book.
With the book itself, obviously, you and I go back to when we first met. Was at one of the cancer walks that we had done after your husband and my father were both diagnosed at that point. Um, when I will say when my father passed, I mean, unfortunately, it was such a short time from when he was diagnosed to when he did pass. So we didn't get to really experience a long time of living with cancer, unfortunately. Um, and I do say unfortunately because you try to make the most of every day. I will say that. After that, when my father did pass, I just felt that the I needed to do something to almost keep him here with us, and whether it was Relay for Life or the Lust Garden walks that we had done, but doing things in his honor and in his memory was a way of keeping him close, and that's what I felt that I wanted to do to help my family and myself move along as best as possible.
Yes. Now you were a contributor to the first book, Pancreatic Cancer. It's a Family Affair, which is really more of a book about our, diagnosis and treatment and what we went through. So this book is a little different. So what was your hopes in this book and getting involved with this book?
It My hope, I think, was that I really wanted. I was hoping that people would see that time does go by, and people will always say, and there's so many cliches, that it gets easier. It doesn't get easier. I'm not going to say that. It changes. Life changes every single day. For all of us. And we're all witness to that today. I mean, so I kind of felt that fast forwarding after the initial period and seeing how people do exactly that, move on, it was important, so that people could understand that we all cope differently, we all grieve differently. It's a matter of and everybody has their own personal will get their own personal take as to what to do or how they feel. And I will say this, I mean, it's by experience, and listening to other people's stories, understanding other people's scenarios helps you to think things a little differently and process things a little differently, and hopefully come to as best a term as possible with moving on.
Yes. So give us just a brief overview of what's happened within well, it's 10 years since the first book was published. So
Mhm.
give us a little sense of what you've been through in your life, and what you described in the book.
Um, from a personal standpoint, what I I do have to say, I mean, and I feel this genuinely, that I'm living the I'm now living the exact life that my father lived, in a good way. I mean, my father grew up always working hard, was constantly working, um, and not that we didn't have a relationship, we did. But the fortunate thing was, excuse me being the only son, in an Italian household. I was going to work with him, so I had a little different relationship than my sisters did with my father. So I think theirs was closer from a more intimate or personal relationship, whereas mine was more a almost a given, because of the Italian traditions. And I kind of felt that going through that pace, it kind of helped, to the point where it made it a little easier for me going on. Mhm.
So you were able to continue that life
Yeah.
that you had hoped.
Like I said, it was, living his lifestyle, or knowing what his lifestyle was exactly what I grew up with. I grew up with him seeing and knowing how hard he worked. I mean, now I run my own business, and, I'm, happy as anything. But I do see myself that the things that I look forward to are working hard every day and spending time with family, which is exactly how my
I
father
think you're
lived
right.
every single day.
That's right. That's right. Oh, nice. Very nice. So any kind of advice or final words for people as they look at the book, read the book in your world?
Um, that Not that that's a tough one, but that's so different for everybody. And no two people are alike. No matter what, we may have had the same diagnosis, but we didn't have the same story. So I mean, that's where everybody does differ. Your family dynamic is different. And with this book, I think the greatest thing about it is that you do have those different dynamics. Different people contributing. It's not just, no disrespect, but it's not just your story, Lisa.
Right. That's right.
It's everybody's. It's a culmination of contributors, and I think that was, a big, I won't say selling point, but a big advantage to having the book is that you're not just embedded in one person's story, but you could take different information or different tidbits of advice from different contributors in the story.
Wonderful. That's exactly its intent. So, Ernesto, I can't thank you enough for being part of this, for your time, participation, and of course, your personal story. I wish you all the best and to your family as well.
Okay. Well, I will see you virtually soon, and
Yes, you
hopefully
will.
we get to see each other in person soon
Yes,
as
you
well.
will. You will.
Okay. You
Thanks so
take care.
much. You
Thank you.
too.
All right.